Hey, this is Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 131. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to continue the No List arc by talking about some variant formats. Now hit our theme song! Hey Ryan, we're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What's going down?
Whole ton is going down. Today we're going to plumb the depths of EDH and then kind of move out of EDH to talk about some of EDH's smaller, lesser known, less popular brethren.
Sort of.
Yeah, but before we do that, we have to thank our official sponsor, face2facegames.com. They are Canada's biggest Magic store.
We have a couple things to say about face-to-face games. Of course, we've got a $25 gift certificate. Are we still calling it that?
I just call it credit.
$25 credit to give away for their store. You have to have an account. Make an account and give us a comment on one of our episodes in the arc of No Lists. Get yourself entered.
Yeah, or if you make an order, tell them that Ryan and Brando sent you, and get yourself entered to win $25 credit for face-to-face games.
Very much so. We don't know how to track that second part. We just appreciate when you do that, because not only do the warehouse people see that there's other people like them because they listen, but face-to-face management also has seemed to notice, as they have told me that.
Excellent.
So that makes me very happy that our relationship with them is flourishing.
And that people are listening to the show.
Yeah, that too, I guess. I guess that's fine if people want to listen. They can listen.
Yeah, I guess.
We've got another giveaway. What's the other giveaway that's going down?
The other giveaway is a sealed Kess deck. I don't remember the name of the actual lady, but it's the Kess deck.
Inalla Wizard Tribal Eminence?
It's the Kess deck.
That one.
It's the Kess deck. And you get entered to win that by going over to Apple, iTunes, Google Play Tunes podcast page.
Oh, yeah, they co-branded. I'm sure Google and Apple have no issues with how you just said that.
And if they do...
F-U?
Yes, suck. F-U. We haven't said F-U to someone in a long time.
I've got some notes for F-Uing. So you just
Good.
continue, and I got your back on the F-U department.
Excellent.
I'll
So
F your back. What?
What?
No, that doesn't even make sense.
Anyway, you go over there, you give us a 5-star review, leave us a nice comment, or go over to our YouTube page, check out any of our new video content, which should be out by now.
Very much so. It is out. I have spent some time in the future of right now, but in the past when you're listening to this, and some late nights, and my eyeballs are bugging out of my head.
You can leave us a comment on there, or you can nuke the like button from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yep.
Get yourself entered to win the Kess deck.
So giveaways, always super fun. We're happy to do them. Big thank you to all of the patrons who help make the giveaways possible.
Also, pulling back the curtain, we are recording this episode on the same day as we recorded last week's episode, but we're still going to put a shout out to our The Dark winner from a little while ago. Other guy had lots of weeks to get at us. He never did. So we had to draw another name out of the hat. And just to remind everybody, it is
EDH Player Guy.
So if that's you from the iTunes review, get at us. CCOPodcast, CCO Brando on Twitter or tappedout.net or commandercookout@gmail.com. Full list of our contact details down below in the show notes or at our official home on the entire internet, commandercookout.com. And let us know and we'll get the dark sent off to you.
Very much so. Same goes for the Kess deck when somebody eventually wins that. We understand and recognize that there are some automated accounts on Twitter that just like scour Twitter for like retweet to win, like those words, and they'll just auto retweet our stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like that happens, but we're hoping that we can pick people that actually are not robots.
Yeah, picking bots sucks.
That's for sure. Not bots. I wanted to thank the patrons again because they do help with the giveaways. They do help keep the show rolling, as it were. And we had hit a stretch goal on our Patreon page, patreon.com/CCOPodcast, a couple weeks ago, about a month ago or whatever it was, to do some YouTube upgrades. So things like a mic boom, so we don't have to like set the microphone on a box out of camera.
On a box, on a chair.
Yeah. So that was one. I had just finished actually procuring the materials and putting together some sound panels, very much like the ones you see on the CCO pre-show behind us.
Yeah.
To hang up on the walls. So there's going to be some sound panels for some sound deadening. There is going to be some... I had some framed magic prints already, so we're going to like hang those up between the sound panels to make it look like an actual studio.
It's going to be cool.
And there is like a futon in there still, like in CCO Studio. But maybe once it's all like done and hanging and I've got my art prints and stuff up, we'll let everybody in on the creative space.
Yeah, and we can hang up the wall of huge dudes. Maybe we'll be ready by then too.
Yes, we haven't forgot about the wall of huge dudes. We were constructing it as a background, as a like an alternate background for the green screen, but it turns out that we need more. We have more, but it's hard to make it look like an uncut, oversized sheet without like repeating and having a lot of the same cards like right next to each other.
We got a bunch of the red white giant that
maybe we could just make one big playmat or something. Maybe that's a CCO merch. It's just oversized. What the hell's her name? The
giant.
The red white. The Boros giant. The Eminence one from C17, right?
Let's look it up.
Kalemni. I got it before you hit it on EDH Rec.
Kalemni, disciple of Eroas.
Yeah.
Dude, we got so many of those. It's awesome that we have them because.
Thank you
for contributing, but god damn it.
400 of them laminated, and that's the wall of huge Kalemnis.
Not even a dude, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So super awesome. Thank you to all the patrons. You make it all possible. You really do.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much.
We put out a thank you video a couple weeks ago, and we just, I guess, want to say thank you to all the other patrons and all the other listeners because it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, without all of you guys listening to us right now, there wouldn't be a show, and we would be sad. So thank you guys very much for helping us continue on this adventure that we are on now. It is very cool, and we owe it all to you guys.
Very much. And we're going to see you in MF in Vegas. It's getting closer every week. From when this show goes out, it's about a month exactly.
Oh, baby.
Like this show is going to be July 23rd. You're listening to this? That's the Tuesday that this show airs. August 23rd, we will be on a boat. Nope, we'll be in Vegas.
Yes. Actually, like, what is it? Half an hour from right now, this moment that you're listening to the show.
Yeah.
1 month and a half hour. We'll be at a wedding.
Oh, that's right.
There will be a wedding at MF in Vegas.
Rebecca Heinrich, a.k.a. Rebendedick Heindlich.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorites. Is getting married. So super shout out to Rebecca.
We're all invited. If you consider yourself a CCO nationalite, you go.
Pack the stands. I'm assuming it's going to be like it was last year, kind of by where the panel happens, where they've got some little bit of bleachers set up. Pack the stands. Let's have a good-ass, fun wedding and or drinks before, during, or after.
All three.
Before, during, and or after.
There we go.
Before, during, and after.
Yes.
There.
Yes, you got
there.
it. It took you a while, but
there.
you got there.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about variant EDH formats.
Sort of.
Sort of?
Sure.
Sure? What do you mean by that, Ryan?
What do you mean, variant format?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, shout out to EDH&M, Dude Bro, FU Alex. There's an FU. We haven't done one out in a while.
FU Alex.
FU Alex. He was attacking me and making it so I couldn't activate my ancient tomb.
Well, I'd be doing that too,
And then
man.
he actually killed me. I thought I was dead, so I was like saying, "Oh, I could have won next turn." I opened my big mouth, and then the guy to my right was like, "You're not dead. You're at 2." Because we were playing Planechase, and all creatures get -2/-0, and I wasn't dead. I was at 2, and I opened my big mouth, and I could have won next turn with a Zulaport Cutthroat. God damn it! So he killed me.
Yeah, I would have killed you too.
So we were playing EDH&M Planechase with a brand new Planechaser the other day at the store. A guy that played Planechase like years and years ago, but never played it wormhole style like we play it.
For information on that, check out CCOPodcast episode 129.
Very much so. Super fun. And then me and Alex were playing with it, and we remarked on, we haven't played Planechase for months. This is going to be great. Then halfway through the game, we couldn't get off this fucking plane we were on, and we were like, God damn Planechase, why are we playing this? I hate this game.
Where were you?
The Kamigawa one, whenever your creature deals combat damage to a player, you search to get a basic.
Oh my god.
And we kept... Yeah, Alex had like 25 basics. He's playing Boros mono basic .deck. And I was milling all my basics with Mesmeric Orb. Remember I told the Mesmeric Orb story last week?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get off the plane, and we kept forgetting to roll, and we'd roll in our post-combat main phase, and we'd roll the shit. The chaos ability on that one is target creature's unblockable. Oh, damn it, I forgot to roll. I guess I could have got another point of damage in and got another basic, right? We couldn't get off that plane, and eventually...
Did you say the chaos?
No?
It's the shit.
It's the shit,
You
yeah.
say it right.
Yeah, so I ended up getting knocked out of that game for sure. And there's my planes. Anyways, we talked about Planechase episode 129. I wanted to touch on one of my favorite casual ways to play when we used to play Horde.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Horde? Years and years ago. We've touched on Horde a little bit. Like, it's a stack of cards, mostly tokens of a certain type. And there's certain rules that govern how many tokens or how many cards off your Horde stack you flip per turn. And my zombie Horde's got like 375 cards in it. You flip cards off the top until you hit a non-token card. And tokens include 2/2 zombies, 1/1 zombie wizards that we've errated to have infect. Poison counters.
Which is to give you an infect counter.
Just give you an infect counter. Collectively, the whole table.
Yep.
And the 5/5 zombie giants from Zendikar. And you just flip those, flip until you hit a card. And those could be like the zombie that when it enters a battlefield that you get another zombie, or when it dies you get another zombie. They could be coat of arms. They could be like
zombie lord of some kind.
Each player discards a card, right? So, or a zombie lord of some kind, right? So and then you fight the zombie, and the rules of the game dictate like how much starting life total we collectively have, and that's based on how many players play, right? So if it's 2 players versus the Horde, you start at 80 life. If it's 3 players, you start at 70. If it's 4 players, you start at 60, because you've got more creatures to defend your collective life total. You need to start at a lower life total, or else it's too easy to beat.
Yes.
Broke my chair
again.
Yeah, the thingy, it's like, I don't know. We're not even in the bad studio.
Yeah, I know. This stuff's just getting broken. It's the worst.
So we loved Horde, and we played it for a long time, and we even had like non-player people man the Horde, because there's a lot of physical manipulation of cards.
Yes, we'd have like a FU spouse,
yes,
FU partner, or FU person just in the room to do it.
Yeah, they just flip. Oh, here's your not token, and then they would like tap all the things sideways and make all the decisions for the Horde, which are mostly governed by the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Or like all the non-tokens in the Horde would have opponent or all players, right? And of course the Horde always makes the most beneficial decision for its zombies. If it has to sacrifice, it'll sacrifice the smallest zombie. It'll choose zombie if it has Door to Destinies. So super fun, so much so that we started to make other Hordes. You made a Goblin Horde.
Yeah, we had what else did we get?
Eldrazi Horde.
That was a good one.
Like an Eldrazi Scion Horde.
We had a Soldier Horde. We had a Scion Horde. We had
there was a Dragon Horde that was like 30 cards deep, but they were all like 5/5 flyers.
Yeah.
That was, and what we ended up doing, or what you ended up doing, is you wrote a little bit of a role-playing quest, right? And give us the synopsis, because it was like, we're all characters, and our characters were like our deck or our commander, right? And we started in a village that was being plagued by the Eldrazi Horde. The farmers couldn't leave the village or something, right?
Like the 0/1 Eldrazi's had come to town and were attacked. And of course, they're little piddly things or whatever.
Yeah, but they were
a
pest that like you couldn't go out and plow your field because they would eat your cow.
Yeah, exactly. So the characters that we play roll into town, and then to try and get rid of these scions, you're fighting them, and eventually the other Eldrazi things that make scions bigger in the game mechanics start showing up, and now they're an actual threat, and we have to kill them. And once you've killed them, it's like, well, where did all these things come from? Eldrazi shouldn't be here, so you travel across the land to get to where the portal to wherever the Eldrazi's are coming from is. And along the way, you make decisions, and you had it was a branching path. So you could go under the mountain to fight the goblins. You could go around the mountain
and
to fight
that's the thing. Like when we were playing, you were kind of DMing it, right?
Yeah.
So when we were playing, we had to decide, do we go under the mountain through the tunnels, or do we go over the mountain and like, what do you encounter there?
Yeah, there's dragons up there. There's a forest around the bottom, so you fight like the animal horde.
Like the jungle horde, like it had beasts and snakes and elephants, but we didn't know any of this, so we just had to decide like, where do we go?
Yeah.
And we knew that like there was a dragon horde, a jungle horde, a goblin horde, but we don't know if the goblin horde was in the mountains or under the mountains, right?
Yeah.
We just knew that there was a goblin horde.
And then at the end, I had like I forget how the boss horde worked. Like I tried to handicap us so hard with that last one to try and make it hard.
It's just like a stack of 100 merit lage tokens.
There were merit lage tokens. I think that it was every time you hit the horde, it takes one, and it had like 100 life, and then it just rolled a 6-sided dice and then played that many cards off the top of its deck every turn.
So like each horde had its own rules based on like what it could flip, right?
Yeah, like the goblins were under the mountain in the tunnels, so it basically had crawl space going on the whole time.
You could only attack with 2 creatures was the stipulation, right?
Yeah.
So if we were trying to knock the horde, loses life when it's or loses when it's out of cards, when you've killed the whole wave of the horde.
Yeah, and
right?
when you hit it, it loses, like if you hit it for 5, it loses 5 cards off the top.
It mills 5, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you kill hordes. And some of them had life, and some of them had stipulations on how you could hit it or how you could damage it. And it was fun. I thought I think the downfall of it and why we didn't do it more, because I mean we could have gone through it a few times. There's lots of branching paths we could have done.
And I think there's a lot of space for the next thing I want to talk about with it too.
And I think that the issue was, I think we had a lot of people who just built horde decks.
Yeah.
Because once you're building for the horde, it's pretty easy to beat them. Oh, it's a zombie horde? Well, okay, here's a bunch of things that do 2 damage to all creatures.
Yeah, here's Pyroclasm and Wrath of God deck. I think you just play a Mardu deck and you play every sweeper, every life gain spell in case you get Coat of Arms, and every Pyroclasm effect.
And Zergo Helm Smasher, and then just there the game is over. It's over.
Yeah.
And I think that was the downfall of that one. I think everything's still together at Joel's house. God damn it. I sleeved that shit and everything.
I got the zombie horde back because I got the goblin horde back because I needed some cards out of it, and I needed goblin tokens to paint to give away to new patrons.
Yes.
Oh, new patrons. You get some summer-themed altars if you sign up. We forgot to say that.
Patreon.com/CCOPodcast.
Very much so. Helps us out. I think what we would need, though, if we wanted to, like, really make it a thing is you've got all the hordes and they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, we had I think it was one of those like 4 trough wide big ass boxes full of tokens. Because I had to sleeve them.
7 hordes.
Yeah, because we have to sleeve them. So
yeah,
because you can't see where the tokens are not, and then the
tokens and the real cards because they have different backs.
Yeah, and I mean you're gonna say, well, it's just random flip, but no, because if you know when the horde's gonna flip a real card, then you can plan your strategy appropriately.
Yeah,
you can't do
if
that.
It's got a real card as the last card you flip, and then you can see the first flip next time is another real card. That changes your decisions, right?
Yeah,
you got to sleeve them, and I think to avoid the horde specific decks is, sure, you've got rules in place to balance the gameplay, like horde specific rules, but you also maybe need like specific decks that are balanced to play against the horde. You could have like the White Knight, the good guy horde. You could have like, this is the deck that's like supposed to work with the zombies. Is it really a good deck or is it a bad guy deck, right? You could have the Chandra deck that has all of the Pyroclasm, so you could still have that effect. You just have Gatewatch.
We could just we could just suckle the teat of WotC and just do it that way. But
yeah.
But it's fun to do, and if you have the time or the inclination. And when we built ours, we just went to our LGS, and Aaron just gave us a mountain of tokens. He was just like, I don't want these. Get these out of here. Do something. And I kind of looked at what I had the most of. I was like, I can make one of these and do this.
And then you wrote a story around what you had.
Yeah.
And then this is the last thing we'll say on Horde because some people aren't into it. I can guarantee. It's super fun, though.
Definitely give it a try if you can.
We had, for each deck, you could get power-up spells. And I don't exactly remember, were they written into the story? You kill something and you get a power-up spell, or do you just get them at the start? Or when you defeat a horde and go back to the village to, like, recharge, and you, like, after you beat a horde, you recharge and you gain 10 life because you rest overnight.
Yeah.
And you get a power-up spell. And they were like, Lightning Bolt was a power-up spell. Disfigure was a power-up spell where you give target creature -2. And I think there was like a bounce one where you could bounce something back to the top of the horde deck. like Boomerang, was the blue power-up spell. So each color, and it was relative to the deck that you were playing, each color had like 5 power-up spells. And they were in the appropriate color sleeves. So if you were going to get one, and the white one was the next power-up that was going to be available for your party, you knew that the white deck was going to get a power-up spell. And I knew what the power-up spells were because I put them into the hordes.
Yeah.
But nobody else did. So they're like, oh, I'm going to get one. Maybe it'll be like a fog or a holy day, and that'll save us. I think green got a fog, actually.
Yeah.
So it was super fun. We had power-ups. It was very themey. It felt like a cross between Magic, D&D, and like Diablo 2.
Yeah,
that's probably the best way that I can describe it. If anybody's interested, maybe like hit us up on Twitter and I'll show you what a stack of 375 zombie tokens looks like. It's like a foot tall.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I highly recommend anybody who is even a little interested in this to check it out. It's a great night. Like, we only played it a couple of times, but they were both tremendous nights.
We only played it a couple of nights, like the full story. We've played Horde lots.
Yeah, we played Horde a ton.
We actually even played Horde before EDH when we just played regular decks.
Yeah.
Also fun. Okay, so we're talking about EDH variant formats. We touched on Planechase.
Did.
FU Alex. We touched on Horde and Quest Horde.
FU me.
FU Brando and the rest of the Dude Bros. What about, and remind me how many games of this format we've played ever. What about Tiny Leaders?
Tiny Leaders, we played, I think, 1 game.
I played exactly 0 because you started before I got there, and you never played it ever again.
Yep, here's Tiny Leaders. FU Joel comes in.
Yep.
Hey guys, there's this new format, Tiny Leaders. For those of you who haven't heard of Tiny Leaders, it is a 60-card EDH deck where everything has to cost 3 or less.
Including your commandy.
And
is it 60 or 100?
60.
Sure. Doesn't matter because we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, and it's dead.
It's a dead format. And here's why it was a dead format. We all thought, okay, sure, let's do that. And we went off and we built our decks. I built a Azorius Millfolk deck. It was a Merfolk Mill deck. I was thinking, this is going to be casual and fun, right? And then I rolled in. It was me and 3 Elf Ball decks. They all played the exact same first 3 turns, and Elf Ball comboed for the win. Yeah, and that was it.
I didn't even build a deck, actually.
Yeah, like we all sat down, we played 1 game, and it was like, fuck this. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is a terrible format. I'm glad it's dead.
So
RIP.
Let's fast forward, 8 years, 5 years, whatever it is, to what's the new hotness craze sweeping the nation, taking everybody by storm. Oathbreaker. And here's the thing. I'm not sure if it's that different than Tiny Leaders because it's still commandy. It's 60-card singleton.
20 life.
And I'm not sure if it's that different than Tiny Leaders. So what's the difference?
The difference is instead of using a creature as your commander, it can be a planeswalker and a spell.
It has to be a planeswalker.
It has to be a planeswalker, and you have a spell as well. And that's it.
So you have a signature spell, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they call
it. Which is like on brand for like signature spell book.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be an actual signature spell of the planeswalker you pick. It can just be something good.
That's right. I mean, I think planeswalkers are hot right now, and they're very on brand with War of the Spark and the push for all the planeswalkers.
And the push for all the planeswalkers to be a goddamn commander in EDH, right? Like, I want to use this planeswalker as my commander. Why can't I?
Yeah. So I'm having an identity crisis here. I don't know if like what role or who is Oathbreaker trying to service. And you did a bunch of research on Oathbreaker for this episode. I kind of left it in your hands because I don't know what to think. If it's one thing, if it's all the way polar, like South Pole, I think one thing. And I think the only other place that Oathbreaker exists is all the way other pole, North Pole, and it's like there's nothing in between. So here's what I think. On the one hand, it's like it's EDH with 60 card decks with lower converted mana cost and planeswalkers as your commanders. Like it looks like it could be Vintage Legacy light. So it's and Commander light. So is it supposed to be casual like Commander's supposed to be casual, or is it supposed to be like Legacy Vintage? And if it's like Commander, why shouldn't I just play Commander?
You want to just play the juggernaut that is Commander.
If it's like Legacy, why don't I just play Legacy?
You can't afford it.
Well, I can't afford Commander under the same pretense. Like
Yeah,
if everybody is turning their Commander decks into Legacy decks so much so that we need rules and philosophy documents to say don't play Legacy if you're playing Commander. If we need those things, Rule 0 in the philosophy document, like Commander and Legacy are like the same thing now with the trend towards CEDH.
Yeah.
So is Oathbreaker just another CEDH-esque format? Another Oathbreaker, another Tiny Leaders-esque format that I just have access to Planeswalkers now?
When I went into doing my reading for this episode and kind of I visited some message boards, I read our Discord channel, I talked to a few people about what was going on, what they thought about it and stuff, and I went in thinking it was exactly that. It's a race to the degenerate bottom. Let's do the most busted ass shit that we can possibly do, and we'll just call it something different, and it's just going to wipe itself out and be gone in a minute because people are like, you know what, I'm not even going to bother. That's what I went into it thinking.
The only thing saving it from that is you've got a banned commander in C17 Saheeli Planeswalker.
Right.
She's banned. And then you've got some fast mana that's banned. And then like Ad Nauseam and some like really degenerate powerful draw spells are banned.
Yes.
Okay, so that maybe makes it take a step away from Legacy or CEDH. Okay.
The ban list is pushing it to be a little bit more slower, a little bit more casual.
A little bit. Okay.
A little bit. But after looking at lots of the stuff, reading the philosophy documents and checking out a lot of the message boards and stuff that I found, it actually restored my faith in casual deck building.
Faith is restored.
A little bit restored, yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of the stuff I read was people just wanted to play their stuff, and they were worried they were going to walk into a Commander event and they're going to get shit-hauled by Gitrog Monster. They're going to get fucking raped by Zur. They're going to just get fucked up everywhere they go, and they don't even want to bother with it, so they built an Oathbreaker deck because there isn't an official thing, and all of their buddies can sit down and just... It's EDH, but it's not EDH because EDH has become this cesspool of competitive sharks, and the Oathbreaker pools, in again what I read, were pretty casual, and they wanted to push towards doing something that's thematic or fun. And I think that Oathbreaker came about as a direct response to CEDH becoming more prevalent, and they used the Commander/signature, the Planeswalker/signature spell gimmick to make a great big loud noise to get people to go, what?
This is just like Commandy.
And then they promise you certain things, like you're not going to run into Land, Sol Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, die turn 1. You're not going to get that because it's all banned. And you
is Sol Ring banned? I don't
Sol
remember.
Ring
Sol Ring is banned.
Sol Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, High Tide.
All the mocks, High Tide, yeah.
Banned as hell.
Okay. It's funny Bubbling Muck isn't, just saying.
Yeah, they haven't got there yet. Give them time. But yeah, so it was... A lot of what I saw is actually pretty casual. It's not as prevalent, I think, as people would have you believe. Like, lots of content creators like us are talking about it. And lots of people there's lots out there to read, but it doesn't sound like it's a huge movement.
Yeah, I don't think it is yet.
It's gaining steam and might be in there.
Two things. I always do the two things, right? This is Ryan's 2 things of the week. There is oathbreaker.edhrec.com, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, that's something you're going to need to know.
And the second thing is I think you agree, we don't like always talking about like the new hotness, the same thing every other content creator is talking about, because there's like everybody's talking about the same thing when something big happens, like Oathbreaker, like EDH Rec Oathbreaker, like the new band and the philosophy. Like, that's why we're not talking about the bands super in depth, because every single person that you listen to talked about them last week already. If you want our opinions, feel free to reach out on Twitter, Facebook, email, Discord, whatever it is. We'll talk about it. But
yeah, I'd happily tell you all about how I feel about cards getting banned.
Yeah, we want to give you a little bit of a different experience. So that's why we're kind of just braining it out on Oathbreaker to actually find out what it is before we do any deck techs or anything.
Yeah, like...
To let some of the initial wave of excitement blow over, to see if it still lasts, and then to find out if CCO Nation actually has an appetite for Oathbreaker. So this is Brando just kind of explaining to me what the format is.
Yeah, like what I found. And I mean, it looks promising. Honestly, it looks kind of promising. I'm not going to run out and build a deck yet, but again, in preparation for this episode, I definitely did some brainstorming before and after reading some stuff, and I like the idea of it, I think, more than I did initially. Like, I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of degenerate bullcrap. Oh, so I thought of like, okay, what am I going to play in degenerate bullcrap.format?
Yeah.
I came up with 5 decks. And then after I read some, I didn't read any deck lists.
So
I didn't.
You were doing what I'm doing, where it's like, okay, is it it's servicing the gap between like Legacy and Commander, where people don't want to like get bent over to CEDH decks, or they don't have money for fast mana.
Yes, you're gonna.
So that's where you were going.
Yes.
With
So
it.
what do I build? What do I build for that?
What do you build? What did you come up with? I think you said you were walking your dog when you said you came up with it, and you made some notes. You made some notes while you're walking your dog in your notebook.
In my brain, and I wrote them down when I got home.
Sure.
Because I was going to forget them by the time I got here. This was like last week. So I made before I realized maybe this is a casual format. And I hadn't looked at any deck list. I hadn't looked at anything.
This is Brando's brain.
Yeah, this is my brain, 5 decks that I would build because I have to try and survive this new degenerate format.
Okay, I like this. Okay.
Any Tezzeret and Thoughtcast. That's the deck.
Yeah, Thoughtcast is really good. Affinity for artifacts, draw card.
You're drawing cards, you're playing artifacts, that's really strong. Tezzeret all by himself is usually a win condition.
Yep.
Good one.
We should just make sure that we mention that you cannot cast your signature spell unless your commandee is on the battlefield.
Very important. And you control it.
Yeah, that's a thing. And your signature spell has a tax just like your commander has a tax. So every time you cast it from your command zone, because that's where it exists, you have to pay 2 extra. And things like Gush, where they have an alternate casting cost of return 2 islands to your hand. Alternate costs can be paid, but you are still taxed on them.
Yes.
So just FYI, like return 2 islands and then pay 2. That's a thing with Gush. You can't just cast Gush for returning 2 islands from your command zone like 10 times a turn.
It's important.
Just FYI.
Yeah, and I think that Thoughtcast would be good in this format, and I'm sure about this.
It always just costs blue.
It just costs blue because your affinity goes up every time.
Yeah, you add cost like adders and you take away cost reducers.
And this was blue. Draw 2.
Blue card. Oh yeah, okay.
Awesome.
So Tezzeret, any Tezzeret, because they're a win condition by themselves usually, and if you build your deck right, which you would.
Because you're just playing artifacts and you're just drawing gas.
Because you're playing a degenerate format.
Yeah. Because you're a degenerate piece of garbage, and this is what you do.
And Thoughtcast. Got it.
Okay, so that's the first thing I thought of. Now, the second one I'm sure is going to be, and I learned later that this is one of the decks that's just on EDH Rec, Oathbreaker, is Narset from War and Windfall. Yeah, everybody thought of that.
Nobody can draw. Your opponents can only draw 1 card per turn.
Yes.
And Windfall is I draw 7, you draw 1.
Exactly.
Welcome to Leovold Town, bitches.
Yeah, it's get wrecked.
I thought of Thoughtcast. That's what we were just talking about, Thoughtcast?
Yep.
And I thought of Narset Time Twister, which is always draw 7, even if I have 1 in my hand. You still only draw 1, but I draw 7.
Seems pretty
And
good.
It's Graveyard Hate.
And you could play a Temple Bell to make everybody draw a card, and then Time Twister so they don't get fucking any.
So goddamn excellent.
Because you're a piece of shit. Okay, deck number 3 is Duretti with Gamble and just play stacks. So you can gamble for the stacks piece that would work out the best, and then just use Duretti to put it into play.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's in your hand or in your graveyard.
Or in your your hand, graveyard, or library. You can get it no matter where it is, and okay.
The Elspeth that gives you the indestructible emblem.
Okay.
And Armageddon.
Oh, you are a piece of shit.
Because sometimes nobody else gets to play Magic.
I'm just going to white weenie stacks to protect Elspeth and have blockers until I can indestructible emblem my everything. I played against that last night, FYI. Not Armageddon, but doubling season. Elspeth, make an emblem. And then Armageddon. Okay, got it. That's it. I like that.
And the last one is the new, and this one is a little bit more cash, but still something I think would just be ridiculous. The new Nissa.
That's the one that doubles your green?
Yep.
Okay.
And Genesis Wave, and then play Elf Ball.
You're still playing Elf Ball.
Yeah, it's just Elf Ball, but there's your Genesis Wave and your mana doubler just right there.
I suppose.
And I mean, that's not as powerful, I don't think, but that's another, because Elf Ball...
The top end on that's very high.
Elf Ball doesn't need that other shit.
You get around being Armageddoned, because you have mana in your elves.
Yeah.
You get around drawing cards, because you're gen waving them. So you're beating those first 2 decks. You're playing Artifact Destruction, so you're beating the other two decks that you described.
So it'll be pretty good.
That takes on the role of control.
So those are the 5 things that I came up with as a Captive Plan in a degenerate shitty format.
Yeah.
And then after I read a bunch of stuff that you guys and other people have said on the internet, and I read the philosophy of the game, that, okay, maybe this isn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back with 5 other ones. I'll go over these real fast.
Okay, sure.
Real quick. Because I'm me, I want to do red, green. I thought Ren and 6 at first. Then I F that. That's too good.
I got a note on Modern Horizons just for the end of the show. Just because. Maybe we'll do some cards of the week or something.
Cool. So I went from Ren and 6 to Sark and Vol, Goblin and Sap Tribal Super Friends. What?
Sark and Vol gives your guys +1/+1 in haste, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought that would be fun.
What about Sprout Swarm? It's got Convoke, and you can just keep tapping the Saprolings that you make with it, and Doubling Season, and you can just continue to cast with the tax even.
Just tap the saps and
tap
get in
the
there.
Saprolings to reduce your command tax, your signature spell tax down, right? Okay.
That's pretty cool.
I like that. That sounds fun.
And the next one is maybe a little bit more powerful, but certainly thematic. New Sorin.
He's
the vampire Sorin, black 2.
Oh, the one from M20.
Yep, M20 Sorin
Get a vampire from your hand into play.
with Vampiric Tutor.
That's thematic.
That's thematic, right? You Vamp Tutor for a vampire to put into your hand, and your vampire planeswalker puts it into play. Get your vampire Nocturnus and put it into play for free.
Frick yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Get your Baron Singer that taps to regenerate other vampires.
There you go. So let's say you've been listening to CCOPodcast for a while.
I've never done that. Why would anybody fucking do that?
Let's say you heard our deck tech on the worst tribe in all of Magic.
Oh, God, I can't even wait.
Because Arlen Cord Moonmist, Werewolf Tribal, would 100% get there here, because Moonmist transforms all your guys. You can finally not time walk yourself.
Oh, but I love time walking myself, especially in CCO Nation. Oh, man. I think Arlen Cord Moonmist is like the meme deck of Oathbreaker, right?
Yeah, I found out later that it actually is one of the decks. It's one of the most popular decks. It's like, oh shit, this is good. We're in the headspace.
Okay.
Two
You're
more-
on the leading edge of Oathbreaker, dude. You are you're the Oathbreaker subject matter expert.
Look at me go. And another one I was thinking, I could just tune down my Windgrace deck. I could just take 40 cards out of it and just play it in.
Yeah, Windgrace, and name your land ramp card of choice.
It could be fun. It doesn't have to be degenerate garbage. It could just be a bunch of fun
It
stuff.
could be lands matters.
Now check this out. Now, I don't know how this would work, but you will. And I think you're gonna build this after I tell you about it, just to see what
blow
it
my
does.
mind hole.
Okay, check this out. Saheeli from War. That's the one where whenever you play a non-creature spell, you get a servo.
Oh baby, you're
And I don't
already
even-
speaking to me.
I don't even care what the other
She's
ability
got a
on
minus
her
ability
is.
for something. Who
It
cares?
doesn't
I
matter.
wish that card was red.
And Hercule's Recall. Okay? Now you play Impact Tremors and like a bunch of like free or low drop mana rocks.
Aren't the servos artifacts though? Okay.
Give me time.
Okay.
Give me time, Ryan. So you have your Saheeli.
Yep.
You play a bunch of rocks and dorks.
Like Cheerios, like 0 mana dudes.
Yep.
0 mana rocks and stuff.
Make a bunch of mana. Hercule's Recall yourself. Put them all back in your hand. Play them again. And you either have an Impact Tremors or a Perforos to kill people as the servos come back into play every time. Or you storm them because you've played a whole bunch of...
Dude.
Like,
You could just cast Hercule's Recall over and over again with its command tax.
Yeah.
Its Oathbreaker
With all the
tax.
stupid crap that you keep putting back into play every
God,
turn.
That just makes me wet.
Like,
I'm sweating.
you could play like Mana Echoes, so every time the servo comes into play, you get a bunch more mana. Like, I think that would be a super fun deck. It'd be
Oh,
degenerate, kind of, but I think it would be hard enough to do and create, like, so rigid. But I think it would be
you
fun.
only get like how many slots you get? You got a 60 card deck.
Yeah, so you have like...
So you get 24 land, let's just say. No, you've got a 58 card deck, so you probably have 23, 22 land. And you're not playing fast mana rock, so you can't go down to 20 or 19 land. You can't, because like the moxes and like the 1 and 0 mana things are banned. So you're playing 22 or 3 land, and that leaves you like 30 some spells to storm with.
Yeah. It'd be tight, but I think it'd be fun to try.
It doesn't leave you a whole bunch of variants. Like one of the things, and that Saheeli deck, while I do love it, it sounds like I just play rituals and card draw, like the research that I've done. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased and I'm only seeing what I think I should see. But it feels like I just rip through my deck and I have a very scripted or on rails or consistent or non-variable game experience. Maybe I just haven't looked into it and seen the fun side of it as much as you, but I still feel like if you're looking for a varied game experience outside of Commander, I don't think that Oathbreaker is it.
I don't either.
Oh.
I don't either. I actually, and that's the thing, like all those decks I said, I think all of them sounded...
It's different than Commander, but once you start playing it, it's the same game every game. Your deck is doing the same thing. Maybe people like that. Maybe that allows them to play a singleton format, which is better than buying 4 Ren and 6s at $100.
Good God.
You can just buy one. You can have a deck that you're attached to that you can express yourself with. I'm thinking of all the philosophies of Commander. I'm attached to my deck. I like the strategy, colors, the characters. I can express myself with foils, altars, or abilities or minutia that I like within Magic. And I could have that experience every time I play. And because it's a little bit less expensive than Commander, I can have a few decks. And I feel like playing my Storm deck today because I have a deck that just Storms. I have a deck that is just Saproling or Goblin Tribal, right? It doesn't need to have a secondary win con, a combo win con because the game's got to end. It doesn't need to have a whole bunch of stacks pieces to control against the Urza deck or whatever, right? Okay, I can get on board with that kind of stuff.
And I think that just what you said, I think that's the fun of Oathbreaker.
Is that the fun of it though, or is that like why Paradox Engine was banned? Right? It's like I'm trying to do my thing and I've got 30 cards to do it with, and if I whiff and I took suppose if I have 30 cards to storm with, I'm not going to take a 20-minute turn, but I feel like that isn't fun for anybody. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that you're looking at it too close. You got to zoom it out just a little bit. Now, I think the thing that got me so excited about Oathbreaker is building Oathbreakers in my brain. Like I built 10 decks. 10 decks.
10 decks out walking my dog.
Just out walking around one day, right? And like it's really cool to think of the different combinations of things you can do, both thematically and like you can make a character out of these characters that have been fleshed out in all the lore if you're into that, right?
You
like
can make a character deck.
Maybe you're maybe for some reason you're lame and you're an actual fan of Jace the Mind Sculptor and you think, oh, Jace is so cool. I really think he's interesting and nuanced and cool.
Tons of people love Jace.
Learn
to
like better things.
Wait, I
if you like Jace,
I got you. You said character decks. I immediately thought back to a couple minutes ago, the Horde. Just have a bunch of Oathbreaker decks.
Yeah, there you go.
And when you'd have to severely power down, but if you're going through the quest, like the story, and you're in the Goblin Caves, it's kind of like when they find the Glamdring and Oakrist in the Troll Cave, and they ended up being like high elven blades from the First Age. You could find signature spells out in the wild, and those could be like your second or third signature spell. You have your main signature spell, your Hurkyl's Recall, but then out in the wild, you learn this new spell where it's like, oh, shock. Oh, I learned how to shock. I used to be a blue mage or blue-based mage, but now I'm Saheeli, so I'm actually blue-red. I found a shock out there and I learned this new spell.
Neat.
So you could actually build onto your character if you did like kind of a role-playing Magic story like we were just talking about. That sounds cool.
That does sound cool. And it opens up lots of building space like that. But I think once you actually get down into building it, like when you would build a deck for a standard or a modern environment where the cuts are so tight and everything has to have so focused a purpose, that I think that the decks, while fun to build, become less fun to play over time. And they, like your Zata list.
Yeah, it's a tight list, yeah.
Your Zata list is really tight, and when a new deck comes out or a new card comes out that you want to test, it's hard.
What do I take out? Like, does it fulfill the role? Or does it make me win faster or more consistently? Or does it stop somebody from stopping me better than XYZ card?
Exactly.
If the answer to any of those is no, then I can't change any card.
Yeah, so your lists become kind of, I think that decks
solved?
they get solved and they become static fairly quickly. And while you have lots of options, at the end of the day, coming up with the option is more fun than building the deck.
Yeah, and I see. I don't know if that's helping your argument or mine. Maybe we're both looking at it too close again now, where it's like, I only have 30 cuts. That means the list is tighter. If I had 60 or 70 potential things to cut, it's a lot easier to just cut one, right? So then when you're only cutting 30, it's like, oh, if I want to play this new card that came out, it's almost like, oh, I got to build a second Oathbreaker deck or a third one or a fourth one.
Yeah,
I suppose that's fine. Just build more. They're half as big as Commander decks.
Yeah.
Just you get 2 Oathbreaker decks for every 1 Commander deck. That's a thing.
I just think that as I thought about it, I just felt like coming up with the ideas and concepts for the deck, I had a great time. I was really excited to record this episode even because I was like, holy shit, yeah, these are cool. This is great. I totally see what people are into. And then as I thought about it more, like, I should build one of these. I should get Ryan to build one and everybody else to build one. We should play Oathbreaker. And then it's like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. That's what they want us to do.
Yeah, and then it's just, well, now you've played that. It's like the one game of Tiny Leaders you play. It's like, sweet, we all played our deck. I know next week will probably be the same deck, and
it's going to do the same thing.
the new set will come out, and the deck's going to get more tuned,
Yeah.
and then it's going to end up...
You know what, honestly, if going back to my comment, I was just thinking about that. One Commander deck is like 2 Oathbreaker decks, sort of. If you discount the price of like the really fast mana in your Commander deck, a la Mana, Vault, Crypt, Grim Monolith, price-wise, yeah, maybe an Oathbreaker deck is like half a Commander deck in price.
Sure.
So if you were thinking about building a Commander deck, build 2 Oathbreaker decks. And then you and your friend can both play one. Then when the next person in your group is ready to build a Commander deck, they can build 2 Oathbreaker decks. So now you've got 4 and you can play in a pod. Then the next person, 2. Then you can play Quest Horde style, right? So because you got 6. And then all of a sudden, if you're playing in a pod of, you've got 6 decks in your play group and 3 people want to play Oathbreaker at your EDH night, we've got 6 decks to choose from. So you've got a lot of variance in deck play because you've got 6 different decks. So that could be a thing that it might take a little while, but it only takes, let's say your play group or your LGS has 10 people that play Commander consistently. They're all ready to build a deck, but instead they build 2 Oathbreaker decks. Then all of a sudden, boom, you've got like 20 decks that you could potentially have or lend to people who want to play.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of a community to get this kind of thing off the ground.
As happened with EDH, right? Like,
yeah, and that's how EDH started, and that's how things like, who knows, maybe I'm playing Planechase at F&M next week because the dude I went to play with kind of totally stiffed me. F you, Callum. Maybe, who knows, maybe at our local game store, Planechase will catch on, and people will want to play with our stack of planes.
Maybe.
Who knows? Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you, I added Planeswalk wild cards in, so if you hit one, you could like save it and cash it in when you need to roll away from a plane.
Nice.
We didn't hit any, but there are emergency Planeswalk wild cards in there now. And
I like that.
Me and Alex talked about it a little bit to just make sure we had a good idea of how it would affect the game.
Is there a bankrupt one where everybody who has a wild card loses them, like in Wheel of Fortune?
No, but that could be a thing. I don't want to make Planechase too meta because it's already pretty meta the way that we play it with the choice of like 5 different planes that you could go to.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You could meta it pretty hard. But to have an emergency planeswalk when you have to get off of like Nar Isle or Leap Lake.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't want to mill 10 every upkeep. Because yes, it's random, but it's also going to end the game in like 5 turns.
Yeah, or Nar Isle. Yeah, you're going to take 15 on your turn. Oh yeah? But you're going to take 16 if I don't roll away. Right? And so it's like, fuck, okay, emergency, roll away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I forgot to tell you that, but it's...
That's excellent.
And you know what? I keep thinking about it. I kind of want to play Horde Quest again with Oathbreaker decks now.
Right. And I think a situation like that is where your Oathbreaker needs to be. Because if you're going to take it out...
You got me jazzed up.
Let's try and look at Oathbreaker the same way you look at Commander. Okay? If you want to make it like Commander and have OBH&M, OB&M, I don't know. BO&M.
That sounds dirty.
If you want to do it, don't Google any of that on the off chance that it is dirty. But like, you're gonna have solved decks right away.
Yeah.
The casual shit's gonna go to the wayside, and you're gonna get Indestructible Elspeth Armageddon. You're gonna get like
that one just blows my mind.
You're gonna get like dirty ass, greasy decks, Narset Windfall. You're gonna get that because now you're out in a competitive thing. But if you're gonna play casual, and maybe even in a situation like Horde, that's where I think stuff like Oathbreaker kind of sits for me, in that you're going to get to play your casual stuff that you want to play and do stuff that maybe you can't do in EDH because it is a little bit more competitive now, but you still get to be creative and do some different stuff.
Okay,
And
so
you don't necessarily have to play the best stuff. You don't necessarily have to play K-Grip. If you're playing Gruul, your signature spell doesn't have to be Guttural Response to get around Force of Will. Like, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to play Sarkhanval Guttural Response. Why are you playing such a jank-ass signature spell, Brando? Well, so you can't force me, you blue mage playing dick. Like, you're playing Teferi Chainveil, you asshole.
Good thing Chainveil's an artifact. Mind you, just make your signature spell like Fabricate.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like,
Damn it. You know what? Okay, so you talked about going out into the wild. Let us take a look just for a minute. Maybe for a long time. Who knows? It's your show. Let's take a look at what people out in the wild are playing. Oathbreaker.edhrec.com, as I say. And it's funny, for some of these, you hit the nail right on the goddamn head.
I got him, yeah. I was really impressed with myself.
Arlen Cord Moonmist is there. Saheeli Sublime Artificer Thoughtcast. Tezzeret Master of the Bridge Thoughtcast. That's the buy a box your shit gots infinity artifact. Oh god. Not only does your signature spell have affinity in Thoughtcast, but the rest of your artifacts do too.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah.
There is a Renin 6 crop rotation. So you sack a land to tutor any goddamn land at instant speed. And then you just get the land back with your that you sacrifice with your Renin 6.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You've got
Narset Windfall is in there,
Narset
of
Windfall, of course. Oh, I like Ashiok and Exhume. I bet your Reanimator's good in Oathbreaker because it's like you could. What if Entomb was your signature spell? You just had giant ass creatures, reanimation effects, and Entomb.
That'd be good too.
That'd be good too. And you could just use Ashiok and some mill graveyard like exile because Ashiok exiles graveyards, and then Exhume is like each player reanimates for black 1. Yeah, no, sorry. Exile your graveyard. I'll just do mine. Yeah. I'll just reanimate my own guy.
Hey, I just noticed this actually. Nissa Who Shakes the World and Genesis Wave are there
I was
too.
going to say 34 decks. They are there.
Dang.
Ashiok and Glimpse. So there's your mill, right?
Yeah. You knew there was going to be a mill deck.
You knew, yeah, because it's a 60 card, right?
Yeah, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. So that's probably fine. Is there lots of like... I looked at the ban list, but I don't remember. I remember seeing like a lot of similarities in the EDH band list.
I actually wrote down some of the ones that...
Some fast draw. Is there like infinite mana enablers that are banned? Because if you have infinite mana, you can just cast your signature spell over and over and over again. Is this taboo or is this like an acceptable strategy?
Anything I read in what I was reading, again, I didn't read everything on it. Most people said it was like, we just rely on you not to do that. It's kind of like with us, we didn't want to make infinite mana so you could roll the planar die infinite times.
Okay, yeah.
Same kind of deal. Where just don't do that. House rule. Like
house rule, you can cast your signature spell like twice a turn.
Yeah. Like you can't infinitely cast the damn
unless
thing.
you have real mana to cast it.
Yeah. But like the ban list seemed pretty aimed at the feel bad EDH insta win, right? Expropriate, Doomsday, Primal Surge.
Doomsday. Oh.
All of those are banned, right? Like just
turn 1 Doomsday. You're just gonna die, noob. Yeah. I only lose 10 life.
And it's like Tooth and Nail was also another one that was gone.
I remember seeing Tooth and Nail, and I thought, okay.
I feel like the ban list in Oathbreaker was mostly aimed at hitting the feel bad. Tap 10, win the game.
Yeah, which raises the question. It's like, is Leovold banned? I don't know if Leovold's banned, and you can't use him as your commander because he's not a planeswalker. But Leovold is banned in Commander, but Narset is not banned in Oathbreaker, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because she's just mono blue. You have less access to graveyard hate and different colors, and Leovold's got blue and black.
I think that their philosophy, I think I read on the one site that the philosophy for banning cards in Oathbreaker is it has to be legal for 3 months before you can ban it.
Oh, so you got to like make sure that it's...
Yeah, every card gets a chance is what they say.
So Narset's getting close.
I would.
When was that? April? May?
I can't see her lasting long in a format that so, and I think that'll be one of those things. Is Oathbreaker casual or not? Can you play Narset or not?
Yeah,
because lots of people are going to want to do Narset Windfall. It's just a thing.
Narset worries me for Zada. Narset certainly worries me for Zada because that deck likes to draw cards.
She is a
I gotta find room for Red Blast. I only play Pyroblast right now. I think I might take out Priest of Urabrask.
Whew.
And I mean, if you've got a mana cost reducer, that guy acts as both a creature to radiate a spell onto and a attacker and a ritual. But I think I just got to make space for Red Blast because I got to get around.
Narset is so strong against decks like that.
Narset and Ashiok, both blue, and of course just counterspell. I don't know. Anyways,
They're just good choices if you want to do like rotten stuff to people.
Yeah, what else we got here? We've got Nicol Bolas, Dragon God. So there's going to be other planeswalkers because they're Oathbreakers.
And he has all their abilities
And he has all their abilities. And his signature spell is the Elder Spell. That seems like a cheeky move right there.
It's super flavorful.
Just get all the planeswalkers dead and then just ultimate your Nicol Bolas to win. So he's both control spell, makes them discard cards or whatever, and kills their planeswalkers and wins you the game. That's a good one.
That's solid, yeah.
On the back of like a 5 mana, 3 different color planeswalker that costs black.
Yeah, it'd be hard to play, but
yeah,
it can be done.
I like Ugin and All Is Dust.
Yeah.
That seems like a little bit of a stacksy one right there. I think that one would be one that you would like.
I might play that one, yeah.
As opposed to like Duretti and... What was your Duretti one?
Duretti Gamble.
Gamble. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I like to see...
And you look at the top, like there's a dragon tribal one with Sarkhan. There's who I can never say her name, the dragon lady. Huatli,
yeah. Dinosaur lady.
Huatli dinosaur lady with like a token making thing and then or making your guys' butts bigger thing. Like
yeah.
They're not all degenerate things, and most of them look fairly casual.
You know what? I'm intrigued now that I see them paired with their signature spells because it's like, oh, what if I just got to cast that like 5 times in a game? Sure, I've cast spells 5 times in a game before, but I could reliably, consistently do it with a 1 or 2 mana signature spell every game. If that's like, sometimes you just find a theme in Magic that that's just your jam. You play Impact Tremors.
Yeah.
Or you play Decimate.
Yeah.
Like that's just what you like to do. You like the feeling of being that person that just gets to stand up and observe the board and just pick 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6.
Get out of here.
Depending on the spell you're casting.
Yes.
Right? That's just your thing, right? I love Screaming Fury. We recommended it for Lenny's 5 colors Hidden Zata deck.
Yeah.
+5, +0, and haste. That's just my jam. You think you're not going to die? Oh, yeah, you're going to die.
Yeah, I'm going to get you.
I got 5 1/1s. No. There's 6 1s. They all have haste. You're dead. Right? Like, I just love that. So if Screaming Fury is my signature spell and I could cast that like 2 or 3 times in a game.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Or
even
even once every game. Like, if I had Decimate every game, like, ooh, I feel powerful.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, if you had the perfect pinpoint time to cast Decimate, right?
And it's always right there for you. You never go, oh, I wish I had my grip.
The Ren and 6 player goes, yeah, crop rotation, sack forest, get Gaia's Cradle. Oh, it's funny you got a Gaia's Cradle. Decimate.
Exactly.
Right? Like
Stone Rain. Like just
White Border Stone Rain from like Revised or 4th.
No. 8th edition.
Oh.
Not even expensive.
Man.
Shitty art.
Yeah, so good. Okay, this, you know what, it seems fun. I'm intrigued with like unique and interesting signature spells where it's like every time I sit down at an Oathbreaker game or table that isn't one of these ones on the top of EDH Rec, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, that's fun, that sounds creative. I didn't even think of that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a new experience to me every time I sit down. And for that, I very much would appreciate lots of new formats like this to try.
Yeah, I would totally try stuff like this if it was like I heard of one on Twitter that it was like a night thing where you have to play a night creature.
Joust?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Like can you even play green in that format?
I didn't even think of that.
Like it's
man,
the
that's
worst.
so funny.
It's the worst format ever. Sorry if you're into Joust, but
That is so great. I don't know. That's great.
Because apparently you can't play Chameleon Colossus because it's not actually like. Give me a break. It's just. But I think Oathbreaker, while I think I like the idea of it more than I actually like it, I do like it more than I thought I would, and I'm curious to try it.
I like these planeswalkers that have like 7 loyalty. Or like the new Chandra that has 6, you plus 2, she got 8 loyalty, and your opponents have an emblem that they take damage. You don't
She's
even
so
need
cool.
a signature spell. You just make your signature spell like
Earthquake.
yeah,
Rolling Earthquake.
Yeah, that might do it. Or I was thinking like
Magma Quake.
Mizium Mortars. No, what's one that just like you can continuously kill all the creatures in red?
Earthquake.
I suppose, yeah, sure. Earthquake. And every turn you just like plus, 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 plus. She's never going to die because she can have 100 loyalty. Sure, she costs 6, and that's probably not so kosher for like more powerful Oathbreaker decks. You see my brain's already going?
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I need a 3-mana Planeswalker or bust.
Yeah.
Right, so if I play a 6-mana
I can
one,
only play Ren and 6 because he's the fastest.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually the fastest.
Aminatu, the Fate Shifter, she's probably fine too. Because she's just like top deck manipulation, and then what do you
You play Miracles, Ryan. She's the if you ever see Aminatu and they're not playing Miracles, just slap
Temporal Mastery, the Miracle Time Walk? Is that one banned?
That's new, right?
No, it's the Miracle Time Walk from
Oh yeah,
Avacyn Restored.
yeah, I think so.
Can you play that?
I think so.
That wouldn't be terrible. You can never draw it for its miracle cost though, so
Yeah.
I'd still play it. Oh man, okay, so I'm kind of pumped. I'm more pumped to build an Oathbreaker deck and just play it RPG style through a quest horde.
I want to build it and do other stuff with it rather than build. Like, I don't want EDH&M to turn into Oathbreaker H&M,
Me neither.
but I think I'm softening on the idea of Oathbreaker as a format being terrible, and I think that if it continues the way that I saw it when I was researching it, I'm behind it, and I would love to play it with some of you guys out there.
Very excellent.
Maybe we'll bring decks to Vegas.
I'm not going to build one.
Yeah, I'm not probably going to build one for Vegas either, but I will build one.
If somebody's got one,
I will have one, and if you have one to like lend to us, I'm sure we'd love to play with you.
100%.
Yep. And
Honey pea, as we say in the nation.
you can get some cards for it from face2facegames.com. They're Canada's biggest Magic store. Want to remind everybody of that.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I thought you were going into the end of the show, but I had one more kind of thing I wanted to talk about.
Do tell.
Just for a minute, and I don't want to end the show on any kind of negative note because I think that your spin on Oathbreaker at the very end there, especially playing with CCO Nationalites, was very positive. Let's just talk about the cost of Modern Horizon singles for a second.
God
What
damn
in
it.
the actual, hey?
What happened to them?
Ren and 6, $100. Seen playing Modern. I think there was like Legacy deck that tried it once and like did okay
Bear Force 1.
on Magic Online.
I think is the name of that. Is it
No,
Bear Force 1?
Bear
That's
Force
modern.
1 is like the
That's modern.
Ayula deck or whatever her name is.
It's got Ren and 6 in it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, that's a thing.
Yep.
Okay, Ren and 6, $100.
It's a Legacy deck because it gets Wasteland back.
God, I like Wasteland.
Ren and 6 gets Wasteland back. That's why it costs $100.
Yeah.
Continue.
Man. Wasteland and Brainstorm just define Legacy now, hey?
Fuck Force.
Yeah, well, 3 Force and like 3 Force and Negation. Hey, that's the split, or like 3 and 2. So you have 5 counter your shit for free spells on somebody else's turn because you're countering stuff that they're doing on their turn, or you're just trying to be faster than them with just regular Force of Will backup. We're not a Legacy podcast.
Nope.
Horizon Lands, which I forgot to order the goddamn Boros one yesterday.
Ooh.
Dang it.
Feels bad.
That's okay. I'll get one. $20 to $30. The cheapest one is like $20. The most expensive one is like $35 or something.
Holy hell.
And Horizon Vista? Canopy Vista? No.
Prismatic Vista.
Prismatic Vista. Sure.
Brando's favorite card in the set. How much does it cost now, right?
35 Canadian dollars. So like $2 USD,
Yeah.
which is outrageous for Evolving Wilds. $35, man.
Yeah, dude. And that's where all the value went. Hey, it's either way too much goddamn money or they're worth nothing.
That's, yeah, the lands dictate the price, right?
Like, you think you're going to crack packs and, you know, all
Well, here's the thing.
And you,
Urza Yawgmoth and First Sliver, those cards, and Ren and 6, those all have significant value as well. It's
All
just
mythic.
lots. And it's like
it's all mythics.
everybody went gung-ho over it, then everybody just stopped opening it because because M20 came out.
Yep.
And I don't think M20 was like such an awesome premium product that it stopped Modern Horizons, but it's sure the new hotness that you draft at F&M, right?
I don't think we're going to play in any Modern Horizons draft at F&M in a long time.
Yeah, granted, like GP schedule, like limited GPs still have Modern Horizon stuff. Like I think Vegas is Modern Horizon sealed, I think. So like big events are still playing Modern Horizons, but it's not like anybody's doing mass box openings anymore to drive prices down. No big retailers are continuously opening truckloads of Modern Horizons to be able to sell 500 copies of Ren and 6.
Yeah.
Like it's the juice isn't worth the squeeze because they can just sell their current stock at $100 a card. They're not going to turn that money into like a second truckload of product.
A guy in Regina bought, 27 Ren and 6s?
Oh,
Like one of our local guys just bought them all.
how much did he pay?
I think he bought them open, or like the first day, just like when I got mine. So I think he probably paid like 30, 35. I'm not sure what they charge down in Regina, but he just...
Now he's like wanting to flip them for $100.
Yeah.
Makes $70 a pop ish.
And they're just... Yeah, so I'm on the Facebook Messenger or Facebook Marketplace.
I saw that too. He's
all
got
for
like
sale.
he's got a bunch of them for sale. I remember that now.
He's got a binder of Ren and 6s. Like it's
Not terrible.
a thing.
Is it the kind of thing that holds its price?
Probably.
Maybe. Like
It's a
maybe,
good-ass card,
Yeah,
dude.
but it'll see a reprint somewhere.
Just hoping.
It doesn't have any ties to a plane, so they could just reprint the same card.
Maybe he's a Lorwyn creature. I think that's where they're going on the next set. That's what I'm guessing. We'll have a wager. And
Just give me a Western set already. This the next set. What's the code name for it again?
archery, baseball, Cadillacs, and dinosaurs.
Did you just make that up?
Yes.
I think the next
Archery is
the
the
next one. Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
Archery
You got
is
the
next.
first one right. Is that all the next ones? What?
So you say Western set, you mean like cowboys and like the Old West and stuff?
Yeah.
That'd be totally rad.
I want deserts. I want cactuses. I
Ooh.
want like horseback, not horsemanship to come back, but that would be badass if it did, right? I just want like guys in cowboy hats getting staked to the ground and getting eaten to death by ants.
Ooh.
Haven't you read Jonah Hex comics, man?
Yeah.
From the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally badass.
I saw that terrible movie too.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Cinema Commander Podcast. Oh god damn.
Cinema Cookout Podcast.
There we are. Well, when they do release their Western set, eventually it'll happen. You can check out all of your singles and product at face-to-facegames.com. They're Canada's biggest Magic store. And I guess that's it for us. We hope you dug the Planechase / Horde / Tiny Leaders / Oathbreaker episode. Let us know on any of our social media. List down below or on commandercookout.com. Full list of how you can get a hold of us. Let us know if you're playing Oathbreaker, if you see Oathbreaker in the wild, if you're wanting to try it out in Vegas or anywhere else. Also remember, next week we're going to be giving away the Kess deck. Full details for that also available down below or on our official home. So check all those things out. Get your comments into us. We're going to think about something to talk about on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!